27514 relating to the length of the school week. Dr. Beccy Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a pleasure to speak in this debate this evening. I am here. I have to declare an interest. My children asked me to come and speak on this debate. I think one of them did actually sign the petition. I'm not sure what the actual age limit is, but I think he did sign the petition. He's very interested in this debate. I'm going to leave the education questions to my honourable friend who has just spoken so eloquently and other people who know so much about education. My background is in health, so I come at this debate from a health point of view, and I absolutely hear and reiterate the issues around mental health conditions for young people, particularly post-pandemic. It is a serious issue, and I know that the schools in Worthing West, my constituency, have some serious concerns around absenteeism and really providing the best support for the pupils that they can. In terms of health issues, I just want to draw some parallels with research that's been done on a 4-day working week, because obviously one of the things that my honourable friend has raised is that if we did go to a 4-day school week, that would obviously have implications for parents who would need to be able to ensure that their children were safe and cared for on the fifth day. And there has been some good research done on 4-day working weeks, and this is within my remit. And the research did show that there was a significant improvement in mental and physical health for workers of companies that offered the 4-day working week. So the before and after data for this research shows that 39% of employees were less stressed and 71% had reduced levels of burnout at the end of the trial, which is very significant. And if we apply that to, as we've already heard, the enormous amount of teachers who are currently leaving with burnout, that is a serious consideration. And of the 61 participating companies in this research, 56 continue with the 4-day week, so that's 92%, with 18 confirming that the policy is a permanent change. So I wonder if this debate, specific as it is to the 4-day working week for school, is actually part of a wider consideration, a wider cultural change perhaps, of how we reorientate our work-life balance, which I think most of us would say perhaps isn't optimal for a good number of people in this country and perhaps globally. I would just like the Minister to consider a couple of things, which I'm sure he probably will, but the teaching time. In the petition it said that the teaching time per week would stay the same, and I know there's already been conversation around this with my honourable friend around the curriculum shape and size and the exam stresses that our children face. Again, I'm going to leave this to people who know much more about education, but does this need to be the case? So if the teaching time remained the same on those 4 days, and as has been said, that fifth day was for teachers to plan, would we be able to right-size and right-shape the curriculum to allow our children to be ready post-18 to do whatever they want to in this world? I don't know the answer to that. I'd be interested to have thoughts. And also, as has also been talked about, if we did move to a 4-day week, should it be for all ages? Again, as a mum of 2 children now in high school, having been through preschool, primary school and high school, preschool, nursery was mornings. I mean, there was no way that my 2 little boys would be able to cope for longer than mornings in preschool. And similarly for primary school, watching them come out, a longer day in primary school would have been, I think, a lot. But as they get older, I take the point about starting later. Getting my 14-year-old out of bed is getting increasingly difficult. But for older children, is a longer day more viable than for younger children? So should this be looked at more flexibly? And I do understand that around the country this is already happening in some schools, and not just the 4-day working week, but perhaps 4.5 days or a 9-day fortnight. So whilst I understand the government has very good reasons for not having any plans to introduce this right now, I do think that this is part of a broader conversation. I do really welcome young people coming into this conversation, and I very much look forward to this conversation continuing. Thank you.